after a desperate escape from the clutches of Emperor Darth Krayt and his Sith minions. Cade Skywalker learns that he owes his freedom to the help of two of his bounty hunter rivals, Chak and Key, who had threatened his life just weeks before, and to his mother, Imperial spy Morrigan Cord, whom Cade has never met and has long thought dead. But no mother and son reunion is in the offing. Cade and his friends must put distance between themselves and Coruscant, and Cord has her own agenda, as well as a double life to lead. Still, there are some scores to be settled before Cade returns to his much-loved obscurity as a member of the underworld. That is, if after breaking out of the Sith Temple and incurring the wrath of Darth Krayt, one can ever go home again. Jammed into an empty Sarlacc pit, the Crimson Axe, once the feared vessel of the notorious space pirate Rav, stands sentinel over the wastelands of Socorro. Retired, Rav serves the Bounty Hunters Guild, with a safe haven and clearinghouse for their marks, and more than a few of these bounty hunters wind up serving Rav. Deep within the Axe, the Golden Gorge Cantina is legendary for its drinks. Though overpriced, they are never watered down. Make no mistake, Rav is still the master of his domain, as much as when he roamed the hyperspace lanes. Death is usually the price of his displeasure. Cade is here to get revenge on Rav for selling him and his friends out to the Sith. We also get a mention of Black Sun, who apparently has a high bounty out on Cade's head. It's nice to see that a version of Black Sun is still operating during the Legacy era. My most recent experience with Black Sun was in Shadows of the Empire, where they feature prominently in that story. I'll leave a link in the description for my review of that novel if you're interested in hearing my thoughts on it. We hear about the good old times, and the oath Rav made Cade swear to him, which does connect to the title of this two-parter, Loyalties. Cade makes Rav swear the same oath in return in order to spare him, and we later see Rav repeat this oath to Darth Maladi after Cade has left, showing us who he's really loyal to, for money and under threat of death of course. On Bastion, Emperor Fel meets with the Imperial Knight, Master Krieg, where they discuss Cade's escape from the Sith, wondering what kind of secrets the Sith tortured out of Cade. Rowan Fel also has this to say about Cade's departure from Bastion, that instead of letting him go, he should have had Cade enlist in the Empire, or incarcerated on Bastion, or even embalmed. And in this sort of context, I think when he says embalmed, he is referring to something like freezing him or keeping him in stasis in some way. In the greenhouse of Bastion's royal palace, Princess Sia goes to check on Master Draco, and it's mentioned that not only is the princess a knight, but the Imperial Knights need to pass trials in order to become official knights, similar to that of the Jedi Knights. Sia also seems to want to be romantically involved with Draco despite her father potentially disapproving of it. Back on the Mynock, Jiraiya and Cade decide to head to Rorke's Nest, but before they get there, Cade makes up with Blue for his involvement with Darth Talon and the Sith, saying, "The Sith, they got this passion alright, but there's this dark void where their heart ought to be." Once they get to Rorke's Nest, they see the end of a battle between Bantha Rorke and Black Sun with someone named Azlyn Rae watching in the distance, and then it's on to part 2 of Loyalties. With a Sith bounty on their heads and half the galaxy searching for them, Cade Skywalker, Jiraiya Sin, and Delia Blue have decided it's time to put a bit of distance between themselves and the spotlight. A visit to Rorke's Nest is the ultimate solution. Bantha Rorke and Aunt Drew are superb hosts. The group can occupy themselves with just relaxing, fueling up on Drew's cooking, or in Sin's case, flirting with cousin Anna, who has grown up significantly since his last visit. Regrettable as it is, Cade's blissful withdrawal from the galaxy is only temporary. News on the genocide that Darth Krayt is unleashing upon the Mon Calamari can't be ignored, and it is becoming evident that Rorke's Nest is not quite as secure as Cade had hoped. Cade gives Rorke a recap of his recent dealings with the Empire and Cade's mother Morrigan Cord. This is where we get the reveal that Rorke is in fact Nat Skywalker, an ex-Jedi Knight. And we also get some more backstory on Cole and Morrigan. Still, you got a right to know. I knew my kid brother was on assignment with her, might have been my assignment, but the Jedi Council, or Seers, saw Cole as the one for it. After a while I did meet her, but Cord wasn't an easy woman to get a sense of, kept a lot of secrets. And when they got secretly married, I kept that secret too, though I couldn't figure why they kept it on the hush, or even why they married. Until Cole brought you to Osis. Your dad always was one for tradition. Family and the family name was important to him. I think Cole wanted Cord to come to the Jedi Temple, be a family together, but I could have told him that wasn't in the Sabak deck. Cord was too strong-willed. Besides, what was an imp agent like her gonna do among the Jedi? I stayed back on Ossus, helped raise you until Cole brought you to Coruscant. Why didn't anyone look for Cord? Few knew who she was. That's the way Cole wanted it. I think that woman tore up his heart bad. Cade and the others get information of the massacre on Dak from Wrath of the Dragon, and that the Sith Empire is looking for Cade after his escape from the temple, and even labeled Cade as a terrorist. Cade wants to leave instead of endangering everyone at Rourke's Nest. Uncle Rourke isn't the biggest fan of the way Cade has been operating, and they have a quick punch on before deciding that Cade would stay on Rourke's Nest. Later that night, Cade heads onto the Mynock in search of more death sticks, where he is confronted by multiple Force ghosts. First he sees Luke and then his father, both urging him not to take those death sticks. Cade obviously doesn't listen to them and gets high. Right on time for Azlyn Rae to take him down, but Rourke is quick to step in to help Cade. And it just so happens that Azlyn Rae is Force sensitive and knows Cade. We learn that she was one of the Jedi in the Order when the Purge happened, and is now working as a bounty hunter. She ended up following Cade to Rourke's Nest from Ravs, and decided that if Cade was still the same Cade she remembered, then she wouldn't collect the bounty on him. It doesn't take long. A lightning strike by Imperial forces never does. Imperial boots hit the ground, Imperial predators claim the skies. Shock the target before they know they're a target. The Sith Imperials arrive in search of Cade. It seems they were informed that the Mynock assisted in repelling Black Sun from Rourke's Nest. Azlyn tries to take credit for the assist, but the Imperials know that she's lying. Azlyn gets a beating from the Imperials, which causes Cade to slip over to the dark side, but before the violence continues any further, Azlyn is able to use a Jedi mind trick on the Imperials and send them away. Rourke does give Cade some advice about what he'll need to do if he wants to be left alone. But Cade has another plan: to kill Darth Krayt. I know how it sounds, but I'm not crazy. I've spent time among the Sith. I know how ill Krayt really is. I've seen the division festering in the Sith Order. Krayt's got no heir. For all their talk of being one, with Krayt dead, the Sith will fall on each other like starving Anuba, and the Order will fall apart. Then no one bothers with me anymore. This is where Rourke informs us about the Hidden Temple, created by the Jedi High Council when the Sith Imperial War began. Rourke is taking Cade there, with Azlyn tagging along while she keeps the Imperial Knights informed. Azlyn also completed her training with the Imperial Knights, and according to the princess, Azlyn's first loyalty is to the Fel Empire and to the Emperor. What a great two-parter. I'm glad to see Black Sun is still going strong all these years later. We got some more info about the Imperial Knights. In order to be a knight, you need to pass certain trials similar to the Jedi. We meet the ex-Jedi, Azlyn Rae. It's interesting that both her and Cade have turned to bounty hunting, and both have various kinds of Force training, Cade with both the Jedi and the Sith, and Azlyn with the Jedi and Imperial Knights. It's no surprise that the Imperial Knights and Jedi have a lot of similarities, especially with these trials, since the Imperial Knights are inspired by the Jedi in one way or another. We don't exactly know the overall beliefs of the Imperial Knights, but it's most likely something that doesn't fully align with the way the Jedi do and see things. So I can understand how there might be a bit of animosity between the two orders despite their similarities. We got introduced to Bantha Rourke, also known as Nat Skywalker, the brother of Cole Skywalker and the uncle of Cade. He seems to have a pretty decent found family at Rourke's Nest, as well as clearly being skilled with the Force and is someone with plenty of experience. This character was pretty cool and had some decent lines throughout these issues. Glad to see more Skywalkers and Jedi running around the galaxy getting up to trouble. Before ending this video, I just want to mention that R2-D2 made an appearance as well. We saw him helping Blue out when Cade came to make up with her. He gets sent away when they want to hook up, and that's pretty much all we get of him. It's not out of the realm of possibility that R2 is still around during the Legacy era, but I would prefer if he served a more present role. Maybe R2 will be more relevant in the future stories. And in terms of timeline, he hasn't been with Cade for that long, and as it stands, his inclusion does feel more like fan service, member berries type of inclusion, instead of something with real narrative purpose, which isn't exactly the end of the world, or the worst way to use the character. I would just prefer if he was more relevant. But anyway, great stuff as always with Star Wars Legacy. I've loved exploring this era of Star Wars and I'm excited to see where Cade's story goes next. Thank you for watching, like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.